All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Idiom Brewing Company, and they're out of Frederick, Maryland, and this is their Crunch Time. So they're calling this one a heavily fruited sour with a blueberry, strawberry, a raspberry, a brown sugar, and caramel. It comes in at 5.6% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review, and this can is just over 3 months old. I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a fellow beer tuber, Ryan, over at Ryan's Beer Reviews for this beer, so huge thanks to him in the description box. I'll post a link not only to Ryan's channel, but to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Ryan sent my way. He sent me 4 different beers, 2 of which were from Idiom, and this is the last beer of the box that I am reviewing. The first one from Idiom was their what was it, barrel-aged Off Your Gourd, which was a bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Pumpkin Porter. Really good. I reviewed that one on Thanksgiving, and this is the other one that I have from them. Ryan drinks a lot of Idiom stuff. It is his local brewery. I think he's like 10 minutes away from the brewery. He drinks a lot of their stuff, and he has a great channel, so go check him out if you haven't already. Huge thanks to him again for all of these beers. Like I said, he reviews a lot of Idiom, and he enjoys the vast majority of them. This one he loved. He was digging this one, and this one is supposed to mimic basically the iconic classic Crunch Berries cereal in heavily fruited sour form, and he basically said it tasted like Crunch Berries, but with like the fruit character being obviously authentic with them using fruit puree as opposed to whatever they use in Crunch Berries. I haven't had Crunch Berries in probably 20 plus years, so I remember what it tastes like. I remember that I liked it more than regular Captain Crunch because the roof of your mouth didn't get as fucked up as when you ate regular Captain Crunch because, there was more of the Crunch Berries in there. But I do remember enjoying it quite a bit, so I'm really looking forward to it. I love the label. I mean, so many awesome labels. I don't know how a lot of these breweries don't get sued or in trouble at all. You have the Crunch Time, and there's Captain Crunch hanging out, and over here it says, Crunchitize, me boys, or me boys? Yeah, me boy. So anyway, they say to keep cold, drink fresh, roll can. Okay. Well, I did keep it cold. Drinking it fresh, just over 3 months old. It's been in my fridge ever since he sent it to me. So yeah, we are going to crack this one open and get in the glass, see what we got going on here. So I'm excited. I don't know how you're going to mimic, cereal in a heavily fruited sour, but I'm here for it if they did it. So give it a pour here. Yeah, it's looking like, fruit puree. Should be able to get the entire thing in there. Yep. We'll see what kind of head this builds. And again, I just love the label. It's just fantastic. I think it's a really, really cool label. Anyway, we're going to throw this over here like that, and we are going to look at this. So yeah, that has this like deep purple, not the band, the color, deep purple, like a light magenta color. Looks kind of like grape juice, honestly. It's gonna probably be darker on camera, but more like a grape juice, if you kind of made a like a Welch's Concord grape juice, but you kind of like made it like hazy. That's kind of what this looks like. It has the fruit puree remnants here, the pectin, whatever you want to call it, all along the glass. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, it's murky, it's turbid, you can't see through it. The head is no longer with us, but it kind of looks like a heavily fruited sour because it is one. Let's get a nose. That is fucking wild. Time out. That is wild. You see something that looks like this, okay? See how this looks? Looks like it smells like I just poured a bowl of Crunch Berries, threw some milk in there, and I'm going to take my first taste and like the first spoonful, bringing it to all your senses, and it's like, what? I definitely get the caramel and the brown sugar. It has that like that cereal grain sweetness that you would get from like having it honestly smells like Crunch Berries. Like I don't even know how to describe this. Like I'm doing an absolutely horrendous job right now describing this beer, the aromatics of this beer. It's Crunch Berries. It's Crunch Berries in beer form. My brain is struggling. I'm kind of like, I don't know, malfunctioning a bit. Yeah, so I definitely. So now, the berries themselves, this is kind of giving me like Fruit Loop kind of vibe because of the smell of the fruit. Yeah, it kind of smells like Fruit Loops, or Tricks would be a better one to describe. Tricks. I'm doing a horrible job with this review. Let me just say this. This smells like a bowl of a Crunch Berries, a Trix, a Fruit Loops, some kind of fruity sweet cereal in beer form. I'm getting the again, caramel sweetness, the grainy kind of sweetness you get from cereal. You're getting that fruitiness, but Ryan said in his review that it was more like authentic in terms of the fruit character. For me, it's kind of smelling like those artificial / naturally flavored, Crunch Berries. I don't know. I'm not getting much more out of it. It just smells like a fruity cereal in 5.6% heavily fruited sour form. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Ryan. Yeah, they fucking nailed it. Like, they nailed it. I thought it was going to be way sweeter. I think that's actually a huge saving grace for this beer, is it's not crazy sweet. Let me go back for the sip. I thought this was going to be like super thick and like overly viscous. It's not. It's like low side to medium full body. Like, there's a thickness here for a 5.6% beer. But it's not overly thick, and it's not syrupy. It's not like a lot of these fruit smoothie-esque, slushy-esque, where you're like chewing the beer. It's not that. So it actually adds to the drinkability that it's not overly thick. The mouthfeel, however, isn't that great. I know it's gonna sound weird, but on the finish, it has a watery kind of feeling. Like, yeah, it's thick up front, but as you finish the sip, it doesn't ride out through the palate. So the mouthfeel, it is soft. This is like mild to moderately carbonated, but it doesn't have that real smooth, creamy-esque kind of sensation. So I'd say the body really helps out for the drinkability, but I think the mouthfeel is a bit lacking for what I want out of this style. The taste, listen, this happens occasionally, and it happens a lot in these reviews specifically, but I'm not gonna sit here and go, oh, front of the palate, you get this, back to back. It's basically like someone took a 5.6%, fruited sour, and they somehow merged it and fused it with a sweet, fruity cereal. They say Crunch Berries. Could I see that? Yes. I am getting something that resembles the base Captain Crunch, that caramel and the brown sugar is probably adding to the sweetness of like the cereal grain kind of feeling, right? Like I think Captain Crunch is at corn. Or is that like corny kind of, cereal vibe? But the fruit character, this is where I'll disagree with Ryan, and I actually love disagreeing with friends that I agree with like 80 or 90% of the time, because it just shows that, no one's lying, you're not always going to align with somebody's palate. I don't care if you're somebody who watches my reviews and you usually align with my palate. I bet you can, off the top of your head, at least name 3 to 5 beers that you disagreed with me on, and that's what it's all about. We don't all have the same palate. So in this situation, I would disagree with Ryan, saying that was more like a real fruit. It definitely comes off more of like an artificial fruit. And the first thing popped to mind was Fruit Loops, but now as I'm drinking it, the Crunch Berries themselves, yes. So does it mimic Crunch Berries? Yes. But I would say to me, it's not like a real fruit Crunch Berries. It actually is like Crunch Berries. And more specifically for me, it's like Trix. It's like Trix. The fruitiness in this is Trix personified for me. Again, it's not overly sweet. It has I'd say like a mild to moderate sweetness in general. It's not really bitter at all, but it has like this semi-dry finish. It's just not that sweet to begin with. There is an underlying tartness. I would like a little bit more tartness, or maybe even to low sour range, but maybe not, because it isn't too sweet. It's not too dry. Therefore, maybe if it was a little bit kicked up with the tartness, it'd be a little bit over the top. I think it's very well balanced. There's just not a lot of oomph to the flavors here. This is a subtle, heavily fruited sour that's super drinkable, that somehow mimics a cereal, Crunch Berries, Trix, whatever you want to say, and they do it quite well. I don't love this beer, but I really, really like it. And I'll tell you what, this is one of the first heavily fruited sour beers in a hot minute, maybe the second, that I'm going to drink the rest of this and most likely not have any kind of heartburn or acid reflux. And on top of that, not get sick of the flavor or the sweetness, because again, the sweetness is mild to moderate, and the actual taste is not punching me in the face, and it's not bogging down my palate. It's not wearing it out. This is really good. Rating-wise, I want to say Ryan gave it a 5 out of 5, 4.9. I would say for what they're going for, I think stylistically, if you're talking about a Crunch Berries heavily fruited sour, I think this is probably like a 4.6, 4.7. If the body was a little thicker and the mouthfeel was a little bit better, I think it would get a little bit higher for score as far as like stylistically. Personal preference would be a little bit lower Yeah, it's going to be a little bit lower, but I still really, I mean, I'm almost apologizing for giving this a high score, but again, got to be honest. So Idiom Brewing Company, their Crunch Time, I'm going to give this a high 4.25. I'm going to go 4.35. I think that's where this one lands. Really good. And again, one of the more drinkable, heavily fruited sours. I just think the mouthfeel is a bit lacking, and the subtlety to the flavor is a bit lacking. Those are the two like negatives for me, but there's way more positives. The drinkability, the fact that this beer is very balanced. It's not overly sweet, which a lot of these have issues with, not overly tart. I think it really helps out, and this is one of, again, this is a heavily fruited sour that I would say, dare I say, would be quite drinkable, which just doesn't happen. Price point availability, I don't know. So Ryan, if you can chime in the comment section, I would really appreciate it, or anybody else who has Idiom beers. I'm pretty sure their distro doesn't make it all that far. Probably throughout Maryland, maybe they get out of the state. I really don't know. And price point, I would guess, I'm just going to guess, but probably $22 to $25 a 4-pack for this. If it's cheaper, that's a good price. If it's more expensive, bit steep, but that's typically the going rate for these beers. Sometimes you'll see $26, $27. Sometimes you'll see $20, $21. But here in my neck of the woods, you're talking Froth, Mortalis, and those types of breweries, you're talking, you know, at the brewery, $25 a 4-pack. So I'd imagine it's something similar. So once again, huge thanks to Ryan. Even though I, again, don't totally agree with what he got out of this one, and he won't agree with what I got out of this one. We agree on some parts, no doubt. But I like that we have a little bit of a different feeling on this one. That happened too with Caramel Pumpkin recently. But, you know, when you're drinking a bunch of different beers and you're watching somebody and you agree 80, 90% of the time, there's going to be, you know, 1 or 2 beers out of every 10 that you drink that maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you have a wildly different opinion. But that's what keeps this fun. You know what I mean? That's the whole reason I still watch beer reviews. I'm curious what other beer tubers think of these beers, and even on Untappd. I have almost 500 friends now on Untappd, and you know, going through and looking at everybody's on Untappd, you know, a lot of times I disagree, a lot of times I agree, but it's always fun. So anyway, go check out Ryan's channel, like I said. Oh yeah, 5.6%, you really can't tell with these, you shouldn't. But go check out Ryan's channel, good guy, great reviews. Go check him out. He drinks a lot of Idiom, like I said. He's reviewed some other fruited sours from them over the last couple months. And Idiom seems like a really good brewery. I'd like to try more from them down the line. Their first 2 beers are definitely winners. I think I like the bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Pumpkin Porter, the barrel-aged off your gourd a little bit more. But then again, I like pumpkin beers probably more than heavily fruited sours in general. Maybe not, all depends on the beer. But I think that one was more well done than this, but they're both still pretty well done. So yeah, anyway, 4.3, 5 out of 5 for this one. If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Like I said, this fucking can art is just, I don't know, this is like the 4th time I show it. I just love it. Just love it. I just don't know how you don't get in trouble for that. But kudos to them. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everybody. To the next one. Cheers.